See what I did there?
Yes, I did. Okay, so everybody gently close your eyes, palms up in your lap, feet on the ground, connected to Mother Nature, taking deep breath in through the nose. And release. Soft shoulders, soft elbows, soft knees. Another deep breath in. And releasing all the stories and the drama. And one more deep breath in. Connecting with me through Chi, eternal energy, the breath of life. Connecting us all. And when you're ready, come back to the room. Open your eyes. And welcome Eileen Schneider. And you can't see yourself because there's comments there, but I have a special
I'm behind
guest.
the comments.
There you are. My very first time having a guest on my Monday is the New Friday.
And I'm honored.
Kool-Aid. And I'm really, I couldn't pass up this opportunity. We were chatting this morning. He just flew in from Toronto from speaking at a conference. And I, have been in Sacramento speaking yesterday and moving my kid into UC Davis second year. And we were chatting and I said, hey.
And it scared me. I was like, whoa, hey.
I have a great idea. Because I was going to do this like last week. Remember when I did my Monday is the New Friday, driving back from Las Vegas, which was, probably not what I should have done. But you all did views anyways. And so we're doing it from land. And so you don't have to worry about me crashing. I don't want to hear about Asian woman driver. But this is a tremendous opportunity because he is one of he's my favorite expert on EFT and tapping, emotional freedom technique. And he's also a YouTube star. He has how many millions?
Oh, it's not. Views. I have 7 million, something like
27 million. I'm the little one trying to catch
I
up.
haven't caught up.
And then how many subscribers? Like
130,000
yeah.
subscribers.
So there you go. So we definitely are blessed to have him.
Yeah, I'm a very
join
big
you.
deal.
Yes.
For a guy who taps on his face for a living.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I spent a lovely weekend with his wife, Christy, and we actually met on a cruise last year. Was it last year? Last year.
Last summer.
Yeah, last summer in Italy. We were both speakers for the
Women of Global
Change group. Yes.
Like that.
So that was kind of he was him
and
his wife
on the Mediterranean was pretty cool. And then we hung out in Rome
and had the best Italian food ever. And he tried to set me up with the tour guide, which was totally
the gladiator
super funny.
guide. Alex.
Hi, Sandy. So the gladiator guy, they were she knows you, Sandy Manuel.
Hey, Sandy.
So I met them on the cruise. We hit it off, and they knew I was single, and they're like, "Oh, we have this perfect guy for you. It's a tour guide, a famous tour guide who takes you to the unknown parts of, and we'll set you up." So I'm like, "Okay, tour guide. Well, whatever. Italian. He's got to be, good looking or whatever." And he is a very good looking guy. He's also married. Happily married. And when I go to meet them, we met in the square. He comes in with 15 of his people that he's touring.
Yes, it was not the private tour that we had thought it was.
So that bonded us. So and
we had
Brad's
an awesome
been
time anyway.
Yeah, we did. And Brad's been on my show. If you missed that one, it's a super powerful show.
Yeah,
so yeah. And y'all know we're on our series, Good Morning Hunter. Is he one of yours?
Could be.
It could be because I don't recognize his name. Welcome, Hunter. Also, welcome to any of my new family, Happy 88 family, from the CSA that I got to speak at yesterday. And I sold out of 8 Ways to Happiness, so that was kind of cool. Okay, so on to the topic for the day. All of you know that I've been doing an 8-week series on the different 8 chapters to celebrate the birthday of 8 Ways to Happiness. And I can't show you the book because they're all sold out. And
we have a copy. We have it somewhere.
It's
probably on a bookshelf. It would take me a while to.
You shouldn't say that. It should be in prominent display. What are you saying? You don't know where my book is.
It's in a glass display that's locked.
There you go.
And I don't know where the key is. So.
Okay. So, anyways, we're talking about chapter 7 today, which is out of perfectionism into joy. So, if you are a perfectionist, and you spell perfectionism with a K, and you are someone, I qualify, I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm a person who, if someone compliments me, I'll find something that, I could have done this better. No matter how good it is, there's something that could have been improved. Or if I get 99 compliments and 1 insult, do I think about the 99 compliments? No, I think about the insult. Nothing is ever enough because I could always do it better. And it's a horrible way to live. Horrible way. And it's definitely a happiness buster. Yeah. So that's why I dedicated a whole chapter on perfectionism and how we can move out of it to joy. So, because Brad is, and I haven't even talked about this part, he just said, yes, I'll do this. And then we're going to wait for the format.
I'm sitting here having coffee, she says, yeah, be on my show, and what was I going to say?
No,
get out of my house.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Good morning, Marianne. So what we're going to do is, if you want to participate in this, and you are a self-diagnosed recovering perfectionist, or there's something
or not in recovery yet,
or not in recovery yet, if there's things that you want to work with, and you can just share it on your comments. I'm going to use myself and his expertise right now for free because he's on my show. I did this on the show.
What?
Yeah, I did this on the show too. But how you can tap as a tool to release some of that perfectionism. So first of all, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Monday is the new Friday.
It is.
Yes.
Which is good news, given all the traveling I'm doing.
It absolutely is.
Nice to get a Friday in there.
Yeah. Well, today is your new Friday.
Yes.
And are you familiar at all with being a perfectionist?
Well, I think I gave up on the notion of being perfect a long time ago. And it was actually kind of fun because this past weekend I did a full weekend workshop with a lot of EFT practitioners, and some of whom want to be public speakers. Mm-hmm. And when I'm doing my work, it's very intuitive, and sometimes the ideas come faster than my mouth will work, and so I just screw up, and then I would turn to him and say, I am just modeling imperfection for you so that you realize you can be an international speaker without being perfect.
There you go. Good use of the example. I love you too, Renee. So and thank you for the hearts, Marianne. So are you, have you had clients who say, I'm suffering from perfectionism?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so I have some tools, but I want to start with, the expert in the room, as far as how would you tap and use tapping to release yourself from the straitjacket of perfectionism. Yeah, the dis-ease of perfectionism.
So for anyone who's watching who is wondering what the heck is tapping in an emotional freedom technique, EFT, it is a process based on acupuncture where instead of sticking needles in these key points, we tap with our fingertips on these meridian points. This meridian system being used in Chinese medicine for thousands of years.
Chinese is good. Had to throw that in.
Some good things have come from China.
Yes. Neat.
And it clears out the energy system. So we get these blockages in our energy system that stop us from our natural state of health and well-being and feeling great. And when we feel better, we think more clearly, make better decisions.
Yep.
And when we feel stuck, that's when we don't think so clearly. And that comes from different things that have happened in our lives, misunderstandings, misperceptions, and that gets stuck. So the tapping helps to clear out that energy, that blockage in our energy system. We also have research showing that it clears stress. So when we get into a stressful situation, we don't think so clearly. And there is research showing that the tapping is lowering cortisol levels, which is an indicator of stress. So what happens with perfectionism is we have this belief about what the danger is of not being perfect. You know, maybe as a child, if you didn't get a perfect grade, then yeah.
I'll never forget my mom, the year she said, "You don't have to get A pluses. You can just get A's. That's good." So ask me if I was raised by a tiger mom. So,
Well, on Glee, they would talk about, you got an A minus? That's an Asian F.
there you go. There you go. Yeah. So there's a lot of that pressure.
There's all that pressure. So to the extent that we have perfectionism, that grip there is because something says that if it's not perfect, you shouldn't put it out there. And given that nothing is perfect, that means that if it can't be perfect, we shouldn't put it out there, and then you're depriving the world of your gifts, and you're missing out on all kinds of opportunities.
That's BS. That's a belief system that keeps us small, keeps us, at the bottom of the mountain.
Yeah. We're missing out, and the world's missing out on our gifts, because if we wait until it's perfect. And I love what Brendan Burchard is. Brendan Burchard talks about, he said, when you call yourself a perfectionist and to stop you from putting it out there, that's wrong, because a perfectionist, in order to get it perfect, you have to keep practicing. You have to put it out there and then refine it. So the only way to get to perfect is by putting it out there in imperfect form.
Right. And let's go back to something that I know my perfectionism is partially to blame, and I don't want to say blame, but it developed because I was one of those 7 out of 10 kids who grew up with childhood trauma, where perfection equals love.
Yes.
So when I was good, when I was perfect, when I performed well, I was loved. Oh, good girl. You're such a good. And then if I didn't, then it was, you're a horrible daughter.
Right.
You're a horrible person. So my perfectionism developed as a means of getting love.
Absolutely.
And
avoiding the opposite.
And avoiding unlove. Avoiding
to put
hate.
It nicely.
Yes, very nicely. So it's understandable why the majority of us have this dis-ease called perfectionism, since the majority of us have been raised with that kind of a past.
Yes. If you haven't, this is what I say about all the issues that we have, because we may go, oh, I'm such a perfectionist. I know it's bad. I know it's wrong. It's like, no, you are not bad or stupid for having it. You are a genius. It is brilliant that to have that belief of, if your understanding is, okay, if I do it perfectly, I get love. If I don't do it perfectly, I get beat. It is brilliant to develop a defense mechanism that saves you. It's so we don't want to beat ourselves up for having this this dis-ease.
Right.
We want to acknowledge something and go, oh, I so appreciate myself for developing something that took care of me at a time when it was necessary with certain people that it was necessary.
Right.
And then we outgrow things. It's like, as children, it's a really good idea to have a grown-up hold your hand as you walk across the street. At a certain point, it's no longer effective. Otherwise, many of us would still be out on some street corner going, could you please...
That's good.
So,
That's a great
so
analogy.
this perfection and recognizing, okay,
it was a
in
tool.
my family, it was a necessary defense mechanism, and now I can and move on from that.
Yes. Thanks for raising that. Perfectionism is a coping mechanism that many of us used to navigate rough waters. And to add on to your analogy, I liken it when I coach to, those coping mechanisms that we learned and used through our childhood is like a raft. We built a raft to navigate white water. Now, the only issue is, right now, there's no water in sight. And there never will be that kind of water because we're adults, and yet we're still carrying the weight of that raft.
Yes.
So perfectionism is a heavy rafted load to carry.
Yeah.
So have we convinced you that Perfectionism is not something you want to carry around because it definitely is going to impact your ability to be happy 88% of the time. For sure. Good morning, Marlene.
And limit your ability to share your gifts and talents.
Yes.
You know, you have something to share, and if you're waiting until it's perfect, which it's never going to be, it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's going for awesomeness, going for excellence.
Yes.
But, you know, if we go, oh, it's not quite perfect yet.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine, you know, your favorite musical artist or your favorite painter or whoever, if they had said, it's not quite perfect, I'm not going to put it out there.
Yeah. We wouldn't have any.
Be missing out.
Exactly. Good morning, Fights. So let's, without further ado, would you grace us with some tapping for perfectionists like myself to...
I'm not sure I could do it perfectly, so maybe not.
And it is true, before I forget, 7.3 billion of us, which is all of us, have unique talents, gifts, and abilities. And
You're not here by accident.
Correct. No throwbacks, as my big brother will say. You know, everyone is one of a kind, wonderful. So this is a good practice to allow you to do things that you're afraid to do because you don't think you're going to get it done perfectly.
This is a process of unwrapping a gift.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, here we go.
All right. So if you have never done EFT before, just do what I do. You can tap with 2 fingers in these different places. Tap where I tap, and just repeat back what I say. All right.
Sounds
And
good.
so, Marissa, if you'll be my echo voice.
Yes, please.
So first, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And just feel what goes on inside. Say, I need to be perfect.
I need to be perfect.
Just let that rattle around for a moment and notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how strong that feels. Notice where in your body you might feel that. Notice what thoughts, beliefs, and memories might come up as to why you need to be perfect. Yeah, take another deep breath. Open your eyes. And hopefully we can disabuse you of that belief. So, tapping on what we call the karate chop point. Even though I believe I need to be perfect,
Even though I believe I need to be perfect,
I choose to love and accept myself anyway.
I choose to love and accept myself anyways.
Even though I should be perfect,
Even though I should be perfect,
I choose to love and honor myself anyway.
I choose to honor and love myself anyways.
Even though I need to be perfect,
Even though I need to be perfect.
and if it's not perfect,
And if it's not perfect,
I better not put it out there.
I better not put it out there.
Which means that most days,
Which means that most
I
days,
probably need to just stay in bed.
I probably just need to stay in bed.
But then that won't be perfect either.
But then that won't be perfect either.
So I'm kind of in trouble.
So I'm kind of in trouble.
And even though I believe I need to be perfect,
And even though I know that I need to be perfect.
could you say it perfectly?
I screwed that up. Let me do that again.
No,
Start
no,
from the
no,
beginning.
no, it's
Start
perfect.
from the beginning.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay.
And we didn't even plan that.
No, we don't. We didn't. Even though
I believe I need to be perfect,
even though I need to, why am I having problems with that? Even though I
you're
think I
perfect.
believe I need to be perfect,
I choose to deeply and completely
I choose to deeply and completely
love, honor, and accept myself,
love, honor, and accept myself,
and maybe anyone else involved,
and maybe anyone else involved,
because I choose to be that free.
because I choose to be that free.
And here at the beginning of your eyebrow, all this belief that I need to be perfect.
All this belief that I need to be perfect.
Corner of your eye, all this belief that I need to be perfect.
All this belief that I need to be perfect.
I should be perfect.
I should be perfect.
I have to be perfect.
I have to be perfect.
And if I'm not being perfect,
And if I'm not being perfect,
I just shouldn't even be seen.
and I just shouldn't even be
So
seen.
this is right here where your collarbones come together. You can just sort of make a fist there
Fist
too.
there? Okay. And I hope you're doing this along because this is a great treatment and it's free, brought to you by Dr. Marissa. This is Brad Yates, one of the leading EFT speakers and teachers. So good morning, Marissa.
And the next point is down about 4 inches below your armpit. That's right about bra strap level, and I'm sure even the guys can figure out where that is.
I
can
have
see
so
it on
many
my
things
screen.
that I could say, but I'm not even going to bother saying them.
All this belief that I need to be perfect.
All this belief that I need to be perfect.
And it's really exhausting. It's just right in the crown of your head.
Okay.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It is so exhausting trying to be perfect.
It's so exhausting trying to be perfect.
And when I'm not perfect,
And when I'm not perfect,
I have to feel bad about that.
I have to feel bad about that.
That's my contractual obligation.
That's my contractual obligation.
Either I'm perfect,
Either I'm perfect
or I need to feel bad about that.
or I need to feel bad about that.
All this shame about being imperfect.
All this shame about being imperfect.
And it's not because I'm bad or stupid.
And it's not because I'm bad or stupid.
It's because I have all this programming that tells me
It's because I have all this programming that tells me
if I'm not being perfect,
if I'm not being perfect,
I'm not safe.
I'm not safe.
It's dangerous to not be perfect.
It's dangerous not to be perfect.
When I do feel perfect,
When I do feel perfect,
or others say that I'm being perfect enough,
or others say that I'm being perfect enough, there we go,
then I got rewards.
then I got rewards.
When they didn't feel I was perfect,
When they didn't feel I was perfect,
I got punishment.
I got punishment.
So it's pretty darn brilliant
So it's pretty darn brilliant
that I took on this perfectionism
that I took on this perfectionism
as a way of taking care of myself.
as a way of taking care of myself.
And I love and appreciate myself
And I love and appreciate myself
for all the ways I've tried to keep myself safe,
for all the ways that I've tried to keep myself safe,
all the ways I've tried to protect myself.
all the ways I've tried to protect myself.
So I'm done beating myself up
So I'm done beating myself up
for not for all this perfectionism.
for all this perfectionism.
I love and appreciate myself
I love and appreciate myself
for trying to be perfect.
for trying to be perfect.
And I'm about done with it
And I'm about done with it
because it's really getting in my way.
because it's really getting in my way.
Because there's no way to guarantee perfection.
There's no way to guarantee perfection.
I can almost guarantee imperfection.
I can almost guarantee imperfection.
So I might as well deal with it.
So I might as well deal with it.
I choose to clear all this fear
I choose to clear all this fear
that if I clear my perfectionism,
that if I clear my perfectionism,
I'll become lazy,
I'll become lazy,
I'll become sloppy,
I'll become sloppy,
I won't ever try to do my best anymore.
I won't ever try to do my best anymore.
Hey, if I don't need to be perfect,
Hey, if I don't need to be perfect,
who cares what the quality is?
who cares what the quality is?
I'm clearing that
I'm
nonsense.
clearing that nonsense
Because I always want to do my best.
because I always want to do my
In
best.
fact, I am always doing my best,
In fact, I am always doing my best,
depending on the circumstances,
depending on the circumstances,
depending on my programming,
depending on my programming,
and I'm allowing my best to get better.
and I'm allowing my best to get better
Because all this need to be perfect
because all this needs to be perfect.
really gets in the way of my being my best.
Really gets in my way of being the best.
As I clear this need to be perfect,
As I clear this need to be perfect,
I have greater freedom to be awesome,
I have greater freedom to be awesome.
greater freedom to be excellent.
I have greater freedom to be excellent.
So I'm clearing this need to be perfect,
So I'm clearing this need to be perfect,
clearing it at a cellular level
clearing it at a cellular level
and all the way back through my past,
and all the way back from my past,
back through all the times in my life
back through all the times in my life.
I was told I needed to be perfect.
I was told I was needed to be perfect.
Those were misunderstandings
Those were misunderstandings
from people who were afraid,
from people who were afraid,
people who had their own feelings about perfectionism.
feeling, I'm not perfect.
I don't even remember what I said now. How imperfect of me. People who had their own baggage about perfectionism,
People who had
who had their own baggage about
their
being
own
perfect.
baggage about being perfect.
And the thing is,
And the thing is,
how did that work for them?
how did that work for them?
Were they happy, healthy people?
Were they healthy, happy people? No.
Doing the best they could in the world?
Doing the best that they could in the world. Yes.
Sharing their gifts and talents
Sharing their gifts and talents
in the biggest way possible?
in the biggest way possible?
Probably not.
I beat you on that
So
one.
I don't want to have to be stuck that way.
So I don't want to have to be stuck that way.
So I'm clearing all these old beliefs
So I'm clearing all these old beliefs
about how I should do it.
about how I should do it.
And I'm giving myself the freedom.
And I'm giving myself the freedom not to should on myself.
Yeesh. You beat me to it again. One of my favorite lines.
Yeah.
I'm done letting other people shoot on me,
I'm done with letting other people should on me.
and I'm done shooting on myself.
And I'm done shitting on myself.
Clearing that out.
Clearing that out.
Giving myself the freedom
Giving myself the freedom
to get better and better.
to get better and better.
Sometimes I might even be perfect,
Sometimes I might even be perfect.
and I get to love myself either way.
And I get to love myself either way.
Because wherever I'm at,
I
am worthy and deserving of love.
I am worthy and deserving of love.
So I am loving myself.
So I am loving myself.
In body, mind, and spirit.
In body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. Close your eyes and say, I need to be perfect.
I need to be perfect.
And let that rattle around and just notice on a scale of 0 to 10 if that feels different. For a lot of folks, the number will come down. For some, it might feel sort of the same. For some, it might even go up because we're focusing on it, but you may find you have a greater awareness of, oh, now I know what it is. When I was in the 3rd grade and I was in that pageant and I was supposed to give this speech and I messed it up and my mom grounded me for 3 weeks. And so you may have memories that you have blocked and it's like, oh, great, now you can tap on it, even though mom grounded me for 3 weeks, even though I screwed up in my speech, and clear that stuff out and let that stuff go, and give yourself greater levels of freedom to be the awesome person that you are.
Now, that's the first time I understood why it's called emotional freedom technique. Do you realize that after all these years? But that was beautiful. Thank you.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. I felt it's interesting for me when you first did the where is it in your body, it was right in here where I carry all of the weight, shame. And I saw, if we have time, Mackenzie, we will do one on the weight loss and health, but that's certainly where mine resides. But after the thing, it moved to my shoulders. So it's like a weight off my back. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Because it's easier to get rid of from there than from here.
Because then it's just water off a duck's back.
There it is. And and I gave that raft example, didn't I now? Wow.
Brilliant.
I love when that stuff happens. Absolutely. So if you've just tuned in and you're wondering what the heck we were doing, this is Monday is the new Friday series that I do every Monday from wherever I am. And I'm in Sacramento. Actually, I'm in Antelope, right?
Antelope, California.
Northern California, at the beautiful home of Brad and Christy Yates. And they're my friends, and he's a wonderful EFT expert. And so that's what you were just doing if you were doing it along. And we are talking about tools on how to release, hi Kat, how to release perfectionism, because it is a happiness blocker. So that is one of the tools, and I'm going to leave you with one more tool, which is called 88%. So you hear me all the time talking about being 88% happy. Why not 100%? Because then we'd be dead.
Got nothing else to do.
Exactly. 8 is a lucky number in Chinese. 88 is double good fortune, is a homonym. So the reason why I say 88% is if you picture, I'm going to use...
Sorry, I'm in the way.
You're 0. I know you're not a 0.
Wow. Wow. Even though Dr. Marissa called me a 0.
No. Here's the 0. Can you tell we don't get along at all? Here's 0 and here's 100. And perfectionists are always looking to get to 100. Always wanting to get to 100. Always wanting to be that perfect finish the goal. And I say, why don't you celebrate? You're 88% done. And no, I'll get to celebrate when I'm 100% done. But that line always moves. As soon as you get to 100, you don't celebrate. You don't say that was a good job. You're on to the next goal. And then you're at 88% again. So we're always living in that 12% of dis-ease, the perfectionism dis-ease in that 12%. So I'm hoping that the EFT that we just did allows us to be okay. If you listen to his words as you were tapping and activating those meridian points, which is the way I understand it, it's greater than talk therapy because you're activating a energetic level.
Yeah, working with the body, because we don't just think our issues. We feel them. They're in our bodies. They're in our energy system. So. Right. It adds a whole other level to it. Yeah.
Right. And so that technique and that tool will bridge that gap so that you're not feeling the dis-ease, because the 88% here is where the happiness is, right? When you go, oh yeah, it's okay if I'm perfect and it's okay if I'm not. That's a happy statement. Yeah. Good morning, Kyla. So, Yeah, so if this is the first time that you are introduced to EFT, obviously go to Brad. He's got
Tap with Brad.
tapwithbrad.com.
There's have like almost 900 videos on YouTube. So
they're
whatever's
free.
bothering you, there's probably a tap for that.
Yeah, for sure. And so I would say to, who was it? Mackenzie. There's I know one for sure on weight loss and health. That
I do
is
have
my
videos
show.
on health. Oh yeah.
So
That's right.
that's exactly what we did on my show. The Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. That's on YouTube now. Just put in Dr. Marissa and Brad Yates, and you can tap with
Probably
me.
find them on both our channels.
It was a very, very powerful one. So Mackenzie, because of time, we can't do another one. But please do that, and
There's a
then
lot of
go
things on
with
that.
Brad Yates'
We're gonna do a whole
channel.
series next month
as
on
well.
vibrant health.
Oh, good.
Weekly live teleclasses. So.
And how do they sign up for that?
So if you go to tapwithbrad.com, there's information on what I call the Magnificent Tappers Club.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful.
yeah, weekly live teleclasses.
That's awesome. So, so we covered that. If you are not on my other social media, Doc Balance on Instagram, Dr. Marissa Pay on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and my Facebook page. And thank you for tuning in. And before we leave, Asian Oprah giveaway. So this is the coolest thing. My newest show sponsor is the Cerrito Performing Arts Center. So if you are in Southern California and you love the arts, then you get to win tickets to the Four Tenors, the Four Italian Tenors, Jackie Evancho, Louis Anderson. And
wow, I would really love
Rita
tickets to see
Loveless.
Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, right. Sorry, that's a different kind of tapping.
What a wonderful.
So all those tickets, just go to my website, drmarissa.life, put in your email, and tell me which show you want to see. So those are all in November. I'm still giving away Catalina Jazz Festival tickets. Today I have a special broadcast. We're doing that show at noon today. Brad also has a show, but you have to go to mine first. I'm interviewing the president, Adam Sharp, the president of the National Academy of Television and Arts, and the Emmys were yesterday. And the Natus Awards are tomorrow for the technology and engineering and some special other categories is tomorrow in New York. So I have him at noon, and then him again at 8 o'clock tonight on my syndicated CNBC, NBC News Radio channel KCAA. So that's at 8. So if you miss it at noon, you can see it at 8. And then tomorrow, I'm so excited. Arturo Sandoval. Have you ever heard of him?
Yes.
Yes. So he defected from Cuba. He was actually jailed for listening to jazz on Voice of America. He performed on a tour and then defected during the tour with the help of Dizzy Gillespie, who was one of his teachers and mentors. So he's coming live in studio to my show tomorrow at noon. So if you tuned in today, you can do the same thing. It'll be streaming in the same place out of my Burbank studio at UBN Go at 12 o'clock noon tomorrow live.
Awesome.
So that's going to be an amazing show. Okay? And then this Saturday, I'm teaching again, Southern California, doing the Tai Chi on the beach. So look for an announcement for that. Anything else? Where are you going to be next?
Next, I will be a speaker at the Canadian Energy Psychology Conference in Vancouver in a couple weeks, and then I have November 2nd right here in Sacramento after being in Russia and the UK and Ireland and Toronto, and then I'm going to come right back here to Sacramento on November 2nd. And I don't know where I'm going to go next after that.
Well, we've actually been talking about places to go together because we obviously don't get along at all. And so I've been looking at China, and he's been doing things in Ireland and Russia. And so if you
Australia.
have a place that you have contacts and would like to invite the two of us to go speak and do our thing,
Tapping
we'd love to
into
hear from you.
88% happy.
There you go. I like it. 88 tap. 88 taps.
I was doing far more than 88.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
the point
That's
where
true.
it's
Yeah.
880,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So, you know the drill, right? Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live with Brad Yates. We'll see you next Monday. Oh, Thursday, we're going to be talking about this same topic on my Unity radio show at noon, always at naturally high noon. Call 816-251-3555, and we can talk about perfectionism. We can talk about the tapping experience. If you're free, you might want to come on there too.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. I just had that thought. you gotta give you in all kinds of trouble. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I'm grateful to have all of you. Have the best week ever. Monday is the new Friday.